Hello, my friends. This is part 5, the last part in a series of videos on Pallas. And we have 3 superpower people. We took the top 3 people, the people who had Sun conjunct Pallas the strongest. And this is the third one. His name is Firmin Gemier. And what we're going to see in his life is the way that he brings together his individual talent with the world. The Pallas method of bringing them together where both are appreciated. The world, the culture, the society, the organizations, everything about the way the world is working, respected and appreciated in all of its complexity and diversity, and insisting on bringing, without adulterating or weakening, his gift, his talents, and bring them together. A lot of what he is known for is about that dynamic. So you see the Pallas theme in the person's life, because this is how they function. If you have Sun conjunct Pallas with a 1 or 2 minute orb, like these 3 people do, in the case of Ibish the painter, he actually literally painted Pallas. In most cases, it's not that obvious and conspicuous. It's conspicuous if you think carefully about what Pallas is doing, and then you see it saturating the person's life. But I mean, not everybody's going to paint pictures of Pallas. So this is how we see it in his life. So Firmin Gemier lived from 1869 to 1933. He was a French actor, and a theater director, and a theater manager. So he's in theater, acting, directing, managing. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, when he lived in France, there was a tension. So there was this tension in the world of theater between the advocates of keeping theater uncompromising and elitist and those who favored commercialism. So you have theater. It represents one, to him, it's representing one part of Pallas, the pure, precious gift that we have, that the theater is a pure art form. Pallas does not like to adulterate and weaken that. So he's not going to be inclined to the commercialism, because that is like selling out. Pallas doesn't sell out. It's not going to do that, because Pallas has the sense it's a divine gift. It's precious. If you sell out, you've diluted what God gave you, what was in the myth born out of the head of Zeus. On the other hand, you want to make the connection. The commercialism is an attempt to bring this special, elegant, sophisticated, beautiful art form. The commercialism says we need to bring it to the common people, not just to the highly sensitive people. And we'll have to, dumb it down a little bit, basically, to be honest about it, for people to appreciate it. But what is Sun conjunct Pallas going to do? It wants both. It wants the purity, and it wants to bring it to whatever venue it can bring it to circulate it. This is why Pallas is, you saw this in the pictures by Ibish. He uses these dark blues, almost like they're bruised colors on the women's bodies, the deep red. It is a battle. It is not easy to insist on having that purity of what God has given you, what life has put in you, and to just share it in a simple way. Just like Ventura Alonso, the first of the 3 people. She just played her music, simple, straightforward, did what she had to do. So, let's see how he handles this battle between the elitists and the commercial people, with Pallas so strong in his chart, wanting both, wanting to circulate and share, but wanting it pure. So there was this tension between the advocates of keeping theater uncompromising and elitist and those who favored commercialism. For example, an influential person in theater at the time who was elitist was André Antoine. Okay, so this fellow, he's an elitist. This is a pure art form. We're not dumbing it down. And a person who favored commercialism was Sacha Guitry. I hope I'm saying it right. So two people clearly representing these different ideas about what to do. Firmin's style is influenced by his son, almost conjunct Pallas, so strong in his birth chart. And there's his chart, Sun conjunct Pallas, 1 minute orb. He was among the top three people with the three people with the strongest Sun Pallas. So it should be pervading his life, and it should affect his decision of how to deal with this. So Pallas operates at the interface of our personal talents and the larger social environment. Exactly this conflict is about relating personal talents to larger social environment. Sun conjunct Pallas is going to have something to say about this. Pallas seeks to bring our sincere motivations and concerns into the public. And the approach of Pallas is to try to utilize the best of what the individual has to offer and the best of what society has to offer. He's going to try to get the best in both with Pallas so strong. As we would expect from a person with a strong Pallas, Gemier does not greatly compromise the quality of theater, right? Pallas, it's sacred, those gifts. And he also sees opportunities for reaching more people. He rejects both extremes, which is what Pallas does. He's in this situation of a conflict. Do we just go commercial? Do we stay pristine and pure and not commercial? He's saying, I'm going to do both. I'm going to bring the elegance. I'm going to get them to come together. I'm not going to compromise on the purity of theater. So like Ventura Alonso, the first of our three people, the accordion player and musician, Gemier is resourceful, he's persistent, and he's practical. This is what Pallas does. Brings them together delicately, the individual talent and the social condition. Pallas is not an idealist. It's not idealist, it's pragmatic. Just wants to get him to work. It doesn't insist on its own way. It will compromise, but it will not compromise on the purity. It can just be simple, adapted, but the purity has got to come through. When Gemier has some success in his acting, but is still not making enough money, he tries alternatives. So it's practical. If something's not working, it's not working. Mothers and fathers who guide their children making practical decisions. He does not lose sight of his purpose and mission, but he also seeks practical solutions for achieving success. That's one of the things about Pallas. They've got their eye on the prize, but they're very realistic and practical. That's what Pallas does. In 1920, he founded the National Popular Theater. National Popular Theater. So in this tension, he founds a popular theater, and it becomes very successful. This is where he offered his audience beautiful, moving, and artistic and aristocratic performances. He used the best actors. He used an excellent orchestra. They played Beethoven. They played Mozart. His Pallas said, I'm not gonna dilute this. We're gonna get great actors. We're gonna play Beethoven and Mozart. We're gonna do it right, and we're gonna put it in the National Popular Theater, and we'll see if we have to have this conflict. Pallas is determined to bring them together, and he succeeded. Now, not every Pallas story is going to have a happy ending like this one. It's just the nature of the battle. But he succeeded. Pallas got what it seeks. People rushed to these magnificent representations in the theater. He did it. He brought the purity, the Beethoven, the Mozart, the greatest actors. He founded the popular theater, called the National Popular Theater. And people loved it. It didn't have to be dumbed down. He must have been listening, watching, bringing it in. And so, you know what? This can work because Pallas respects both sides. You know, if you're really aristocratic and haughty about the old, well, they're not going to appreciate it. But Pallas has that ability to see what's going on in the world, what's going on inside us, us, the craftsmen, whatever we're good at, what our craft is, what our talent is. And Pallas strives to bring authentic expression into the world, and he was able to bring high quality to people. How's that for a happy ending? Fantastic Pallas story. So Gemier rose to the top rank of 20th century French actors with a versatile talent that led to simultaneous successes in the bourgeois commercial theaters of the boulevards, with the elite independent theaters of the back street, and the tawdry working class theaters of the suburbs. He had success with all of them. All of them. He didn't compromise on the essence. He compromised on the implementation. I'm sure there's adjustments he had to make, but he brought something real, genuine to all of these different environments. He achieved the goal of Pallas, successful, authentic expression of oneself with healthy integration and participation with the social system. Wow, is that fantastic or what? So, each one of us, we have our birth charts with our challenges, our what's trying to happen. And it's beautiful to see someone succeed. And when you see it astrologically, you appreciate it so much more deeply than just reading the words. Like, oh, that was a nice thing he did. But you see there's like a deep force behind all of these events. Tremendous success. And it sets an example for us for whatever is in our charts, no matter how challenging. And Pallas is difficult. All those paintings that we saw, they reveal the challenge, it can just be an ongoing. You might wonder if it's ever going to work. It will. It will. The chart is made to do what it says. So in conclusion, this extreme case sampling study of people with a specific asteroid, in this case Pallas, conjunct the Sun, with the smallest orb, it removes cherry picking. It focuses our attention on people who must have themes of this asteroid in their lives. If you don't do this kind of research, you say, oh, he's just a guy with Sun Pallas, I don't know, and you're thinking about the myth. If you do this kind of research, you can't just ignore them, write them off, and it makes. We spend hundreds of hours. We have a team of people working on this, going back and forth. You have to spend many, many hundreds of hours, and it starts to come through. Very, very exciting to figure this stuff out. So they must have these themes of that particular asteroid in their lives. This evidence-based approach to astrology provides a better understanding of how asteroids function in our lives. What we're saying here is that there's a revolution going on. By using modern research methods, it's never been done before. We didn't have modern research methods. We didn't have huge databases. It's only within the last 10 to 20 years that the Astro Databank data went from a specialized program to being put in here to having software to do cutting-edge research methods, many of which have developed in recent years. The extreme case sampling being developed in use in genetics and things like that. Anyway, all of this is happening now, enabling us to cross a bridge to a new level of astrology. Last sentence, this research does require many hundreds of hours of effort, but it enables us to be more confident about our ideas. I like to emphasize that because when you see me give this final conclusion in this 5-part series, it takes a few hours. You might think, wow, it's amazing. This guy just can figure stuff out so easily. Whoa. We have a team of people working on this, and a huge number of hours go into sorting through the information, figuring it out. But actually, in this case with Pallas, it became pretty obvious straight away what it's doing. What takes a lot of time is reading all the biographies, sifting through all the information, etc., and looking at all possibilities. Okay, well that's Pallas, my friend. I think we now have a real understanding of Pallas, quite a bit different from what we're usually told about Pallas. Interesting, some of those elements, some of those ideas about Pallas actually do work, but in a different context. So really wonderful. I think I will make some more videos on the research we've done on other asteroids. So recently I've shared the videos on Ceres, and I had made some on Ceres early, and now Pallas, and we have insights into some others. So this is so exciting. All right, so this video will be about 16, 17 minutes. Thank you so much. If you've watched all 5 videos, thank you so much. Everybody watching this is a member. Thank you. God bless. Namaste.